Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. I want to welcome Dr. Karlowicz, our president of Wallace State Community College, to the stage.
Well, good morning. It's good to see all of you here today. It's great to have all of you members of the Applied Technologies Division here in our auditorium for this Manufacturing Day. And I especially want to welcome our industry partners. You are so important to what we do. We were speaking to a Alabama Trucking Association just last week, and I said to the members in that conference center that the relationship that we have as a community college with employers has never been more important than it is right now, because the days that someone can sit and wait for us to finish preparing someone for them to take an interest in employment with that particular company, those days are behind us. So the more that you engage early on with a student in their education and develop that relationship and commitment, it's in the best interest not only of the industry partner, but most importantly with all of you. Right, FAME participants? It's great. So we are delighted to have you here today for this. I think this is an inaugural event, isn't it? And I think it's a great idea. It's being streamed. Many of our local high school career tech centers are viewing it, so we'd welcome our virtual viewers as well. I have the honor of introducing our facilitator today, our moderator, Audrey Webb. Audrey is the project director of ALAMAP at the Alabama Community College System, and she will be serving as a moderator for the panel discussions. Ms. Webb has 10 years of higher education workforce development experience. Prior to joining the staff of the Alabama Community College System, she served as division chair of engineering technology and an electronic engineering instructor at Gadsden State Community College. She was also the coordinator for the AMT FAME program at Gadsden State. Prior to that, she worked as a project engineer and an associate technical specialist in the manufacturing industry. Ms. Webb earned a Master of Engineering degree from Mississippi State University and a Bachelor of Science in Engineering from the University of Alabama in Huntsville. Please welcome Ms. Webb.
Thank you, Dr. Karlowicz. Thank you, industry partners, for being here today. And thank you, students, faculty, and staff, and industry partners in the auditorium. Thank you for having me today. So today we're going to ask some questions to our panel. You'll have time to ask some questions and answer other questions from the students, okay? So let's start with our first question. What led you into the manufacturing industry? Yes, sir.
I was wanting to learn a hands-on trade, and my company, Zipco, offered an apprenticeship program. If you can't hear with it, they had offered an apprenticeship program, so I went. I got the schooling plus the hands-on experience.
And I forgot to let them introduce themselves, so let's do that first, okay? We'll go ahead and start at the end down there.
Hey, how are y'all doing? I'm good. I'm sitting over a trapdoor switch, so I got to be real careful here. But anyway, I'm John Busby. I work at a Zipco here in North Birmingham. We're an industry that makes pipe for water, sewer, and also natural gas and oil transmission lines. Been in business since 1905. I'm the plant maintenance manager there. I've actually been out there 43 years. From the looks at y'all's faces, probably older than most of you. I've been there longer than you've been alive. So anyway, it's good to be here. Thank y'all for inviting us very much.
Yeah, and my name is Donald Coward. I work in the machine shop at Zipco, and I've got 45 years experience, so he's a young man.
I'm Scott Rainwater. I also work at a Zipco, American Cast Iron Pipe Company. Been out there 30 years, and I'm a general foreman in the HVAC plumbers / pipe fitters division, and been there, like I said, about 30 years.
I'm Wes McCoy. I'm the Assistant Plant Maintenance Manager, which consists of our mechanical maintenance, electrical maintenance, our machine shop, our plumbers, pipe fitters, and a few other odds and ends departments. I've been there 28 years, so I guess as y'all can see with the numbers there, it's a good company to be with and stay with.
My name is Sydney Swafford. I'm a machine maintenance team leader at YKTA in Madison. We're just now starting up production. I've been there for a little bit over a year, and in June of 2020, I graduated from Wallace. So it wasn't long ago. I was exactly where you guys are right now. So thank you.
I'll steal your microphone. Hey, I'm Ryan Lamar. I work at YKTA as well. So we're right next to Mazda Toyota. We build a lot of their stamped and welded body and chassis components. I'm the assistant manager of maintenance and engineering for the weld side out there. Been there for 2 years now, and it's a really good place to be.
My name's Alan Ballinger. I work at Dynetics in Huntsville. If everybody's heard of the Moab bomb, we built the tail kits for it. I'm also a graduate of the machine shop program here at Wallace. Been there 27 years ago, so thanks for having me here today.
I'm Tina Wright, and I'm the maintenance planner at Sunoco Reels and Plugs in Hartsville, Alabama, and we're happy to be here. I've been with Sunoco for 3 years, and I'm pretty well new to it, but I've learned a lot, and it's a great field to get into.
My name is Jared McCombs. I'm with Fontaine Trailer Company in Haleyville. I am the quality manager there. I've been with them for 29 years, and we are a member of the platform industry. We build all the trailers, a lot of them you see that's hauling everything up and down the highway. Thank you.
Thank you. So students, if you don't have a job, there's a lot of knowledge on this stage and a lot of great companies, so make sure you talk to them today. Thank you. So let's go to our second question. What degrees, certifications, or training were required for your current career?
Okay, I'll answer that. And I guess one of the requirements is not public speaking, so why I've got a few notes here. But basically, I'm an electrical engineer. That I have a journeyman electrician card and a professional engineering card. Like I said earlier, I've been at a American or a Sitco about 28 years. I started as a summer laborer 2 years in the electric department. After graduating college, I hired in as the engineer in the electric shop. So years of experience there. I spent some time in the engineering department where I worked on numerous projects. During that time and after that, I got some supervisory experience, which helped me get to the position I'm at now, which is the assistant manager in the plant maintenance. What could graduating from Wallace State with a manufacturing trade do for you at American? I thought I might try to correlate that to what I've done. So depending on your work experience and how advanced you are in your trade, you could hire in as a craft person, or if maybe you don't have quite that experience, you know, we're looking at maybe a 2-year apprentice program that further develop those trades, but you could get into a full craft job there. And like I did, advance onto a supervisory role. There's opportunities as a leadman, a unit foreman, on up to a general foreman like Scott is, and even beyond manager, department manager. I guess the sky's the limit, you know, all the way up to vice president or president of the company. So in my experience, though, there's about 3 keys that I've seen or experienced on maybe progressing to that. So first is a college education, which when you graduate from Wallace, you'll have that. But American offers tuition reimbursement to further your college education if you want to advance on to maybe a bachelor's degree or a master's or whatever, which never hurts in any business. The second is a solid work history, and basically that's doing more than is expected for you. You might not think it gets noticed, but it does. A good manager will compliment you on that and acknowledge that they see, you know, the extra work you're putting forth. And maybe the last thing is the development of your supervisory skills. You'll be given opportunities in any job, whether it's an official supervisor job or just take charge of little groups here. And again, that's one of those things that gets recognized and can only help you in the advancement on up through the ranks of your company.
Thank you. What is the working environment like in your industry currently? Has the environment changed since you have been in the industry? And if so, how?
So I think a lot of these questions lead to how the environment's changing. 20 years ago, well, I'll go 27 years ago, there was a waiting list to get in the machine shop program at Wallace. Now you just come up and sign up and you're in, right? It's the amount of people that left the trades and sought after other things, 4-year degrees and so forth. And it caused that shortage, and I'm not going to try to cover too much of the shortage. But what that has caused industry is to change the way we do business, change the way we look for people. You know, I don't exactly go after a 20-year guy anymore like I used to. Now I'm looking at the entry-level guys. How can we hire them? And I've actually got some Wallace students, Calhoun students, so forth, that work for me today. And it's bringing them up to where they become the 20-year guy. So that's really caused us to change the most, is the shortage in the skill set.
Yeah, I would echo that too at a SIPCO. You can imagine at a iron pouring foundry where we have them melting in, we have some hot environments, we have some dusty environments. But when I came in 78, you know, there was not even earplugs or any kind of PPE other than glasses on a hard hat. I mean, earplugs, you know, you had a couple dispensers that had cotton balls and you shoved them in your ears, things like that. Over time, since that 43 years, of course, you know, we got much better pollution control. We have better pollution control inside. The guys that do have to be around hot iron, they have fresh air hoods. We put in a $2 or $3 million system over our casting bay to remove as much heat as possible, and also any kind of smoke or anything like that. And so environmental-wise, working, things has really improved, of course, in 43 years. I mean, don't get me wrong, we had cars when I went there, but only a few. And then we got cars everywhere. People rode bicycles inside the plant. We're sitting on about 3,300 acres, so you're kind of a small city. And, you know, when I first came, we had like 3,500 people, and now we're about 1,500. But the reason that being is the improvement in the equipment over time. We're really into robotics. We have a very strong capital expenditure program where we put literally millions into our Birmingham location and our other locations throughout the country, and one in Brazil actually, to bring it to, we want to be world class, you know, on all that we offer in the environmental side. I would agree on the environment of the hiring side. You know, there's a drought of even skilled workers coming in. The cool part about at a SIPCO, I'm 70, so forgive my language. Well, I don't care. That's the way I talk. The cool part is the fact that if you come in, if you want to craft in our departments, you know, you're protected from layoffs. You're at top rate in less than about 4 years. If you come into electrical or the plumbing HVAC pipe fitter, you get certification cards. We pay for your school to go pass the test. We pay for to re-up your cards. And so we make it advantageous for you to be there and start a career and stay a career. We got a very bright young student. I won't embarrass him in fame that hangs with us, even though our name's on his chest, so I don't have to call his name. Peace. But anyhow, the environment's changed fully since I've been there, of course.
What do you think are some common misconceptions about advanced manufacturing today?
So for me, I feel like, first of all, I feel like I talk a whole lot. So I'm definitely not going to give some of the most common misconceptions. I'm going to give the most common misconception to myself. I think that people feel like they're going to get stuck. you know, in advanced manufacturing positions, you make decent enough money that, you know, you get into a position, you feel like, well, there's no room for me to grow. I'm going to make a few extra dollars for the rest of my life, and then I'm going to top out, and I have nothing to do, nothing to grow for, and no opportunity. But I want to share with you that that's all controlled by how you handle yourself. It's all controlled by your ambition. So I'm going to brag on Sydney here for a minute. She said, you know, a year ago, she was right where you're at, if you're a student here. You know, she took an opportunity at a new company as a maintenance technician, an entry-level maintenance technician within a year, and she's a team leader now. So she's already trying to move up those ranks and better herself. And I want to share with you the steps in which that I feel like that happens. But even myself, you know, 5 years ago, I was driving a forklift for a company. It was for me, it was a dead-end job. Because of my advanced manufacturing degree, I was able to get into an engineering technician program and then move to engineering, and now I'm in management for engineering and maintenance. So it's a wild ride, but it's all about what you do with it. So the ways that I feel like you get there, there's 4 things that's important. Your ambition. You know, you have to be ambitious enough to do what your peers won't. I'll never forget that. My mentor, whenever I first got into engineering, gave me that little tidbit, and it's rang with me even to this day. You know, I asked him, you know, how do I get ahead? How do I get noticed? How do I get myself out there? And he said, do what other people won't. You know, excuse my language as well, do the crap jobs. You know, do the stuff that nobody else wants to do, and shine at it. So the next thing is pride. I'm not talking about self-pride. I'm talking about pride in your job. You know, to take pride in your job is to do your absolute very best at it, even at the most simplest task. And humility. Be able to admit when you're wrong. Be able to take correction and to use that as constructive criticism and build on that. And also take ownership. You know, whenever something happens that you were involved in, maybe it wasn't the best outcome, own it. Whenever you have a project in the workforce that you're working on, own it. Be with it every step of the way. That's all I got.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
So I'd like to just add just something to that, and that was great.
For sure, 100%.
You know, the trades have always been something that everybody, when you say I'm going to be a machinist, no offense to welders or anybody else, but everybody goes, so you're going to weld stuff. No, I'm going to be a machinist. Or I'm going to be a welder, and everybody thinks you're out there beating parts all day and so forth. Advanced manufacturing has grown a lot, and there's so much room for advancement. I've got a machinist right now that we're training on the largest electron beam welder in the Western Hemisphere. And he was once a fabricator, and he had interest in it, and so he's training on it. He's going to be something special. At some point, he'll be able to name his price in the U.S. market. And so that's just an example of going out above and beyond, stepping outside your comfort zone to do something different or to excel yourself. So never stop learning, and as he said, you got to work. You got to make a difference.
Thank you. Describe briefly what a normal day in your particular role entails.
A normal day for me, it starts about 5:30 in the morning, and I've got about 5 minutes of normal. From there, you know, I'll look at the jobs, and I'll talk with my third shift and make sure we don't have anything that needs to be followed up on. But with the bigger facility as we've got, and being over both the HVAC, the plumbing, and the pipe fitting, that's a lot. I'm very fortunate, I'm very blessed to have the crew that I have. But I'll get in there and I'll see what needs to be done. I'll get those jobs lined up, and then I will pull up on the screen our main office air conditioners. You know, people that do the payroll, sign the checks. You make sure that their temperature is where it needs to be.
That's right.
And
That's right.
then from there, I will meet with my guys. We have a safety meeting every morning. There is nothing more important. I don't care where y'all go to work at. Love to have you at a SIPCO. Your safety is number one always, and that's what we strive for. We have a safety meeting every morning to go over potential hazards. But from there, once the guys are lined up and dispersed, we've, like Mr. Busby was saying, I'm fortunate enough to work at a company that reinvests back into it. And so we've always got projects going, big projects, small projects. And so I get to meet with engineering and the electricians, the construction department, all the other contractors that are involved in that. We get together, we come up with game plan. There's a lot of planning. And while all that's going on, the phone's ringing, and I'm fielding calls from the guys that may have gotten into something they need a little help on, whether it's the HVAC, whether it's the plumbing, or whatever they may have going on. But there's always something broke down. There's never a time when there's nothing to be done. And when you get into the skilled trades, that's the mindset that you have to have. There's never a time when there's nothing to be done. And I can guarantee you, if you get into the skilled trades, you'll never want or be looking for a job. They're going to find you. They're going to seek you out if you have that ambition and if you have that want to. And I'll back up a little bit. I'm a pretty good talker. My job requires it. But through the skilled trade, you know, I'm backing up on some of these other questions, but SIPCO has allotted me an HVAC state certified contractor, a master plumber, a journeyman gas fitter, and that's all through our apprentice program. You talk about how things change, there's room for advancement. When I hired in out there, I ran a chipping hammer and a shovel, chipping out these hot ladles that just poured iron, knocking the slag off the top. I did have a small background in it, but like I said, you'll never be without a job. And my regular day, I do get to spend time with some of the apprentices that I have in my group. I'm able to pass along what I've been blessed with. You know, I'm able to answer questions. If someone's got problems, even outside the plant, you know, they call, we're able to pass that along. And so there's no normalcy to it. It's just all about safety, and it's all about prioritizing your jobs and making sure and following up that that's being done and staying out of Mr. Busby and Mr. McCoy's office. You do that, it's a good day.
Well, I'll talk a little bit about my day. I'm a lot like Scott. Our day starts really early. You know, my day for me starts around 5. And so in the quality world, I have a quality team. And so the first thing I do in my day is I'll meet with my quality team, and we'll go over all the issues that we faced the day before, because again, it's 5 in the morning, so a lot's not happened at that point. So we're going to discuss what happened yesterday. So if there are issues to discuss, it's my job then to take that stuff and go work with all the players that I need to meet with that's going to solve these issues. Put corrective actions in, you know, things in place that's going to keep us from making those same mistakes again. Now, that may be a 10-minute conversation with a supervisor, or that may be an hour-long meeting with an engineering team or a production manager. You never know. So it changes daily. Some days there's no issues. At that point, I swap hats, and I get to work with my production team. We get to do a lot of cool stuff. I get involved in product design, making product improvements, bringing ideas to the engineering team, saying, okay, this don't work, this works. What can we do to make it better? Not to brag, but we're number one in our industry. So what our goal is to stay number one in our industry, so we're never happy. Our quality is never good enough. So we're always looking for that quality-minded person. We have a fantastic team mentality down there. What I mean by that is, I'm the quality guy, the production manager's sitting right down there. If they need a hand out in the shop, we're going to have our shop clothes on and we're going to be out there working. In my case, I'm going to be out there welding. I have a welding background. I've been welding for a living since I was 15. So I get involved in a lot of the welding part of the things. Being in quality, I get to be involved in everything. I may be having a discussion with a paint engineer about viscosity. You just never know what you're going to get involved in. So it's an awesome opportunity. I will brag about our company. I love what Scott brought up about safety, because that is number one. That's always number one. That's our focus as you come to work and you leave work in the same condition. That's always a focus, because all these industries have opportunities for injuries, and that's the last thing we want to see. But that kind of entails a day of my life. Like I said, in the quality world, you can have an issue-related day, or you can be working on product improvements and seeing what we're going to do tomorrow to make our lives better and win. I appreciate it.
Thank you. How is the current shortage in skilled workers in manufacturing impacting you and your role at your company?
Well, I don't speak quite as well as everyone else up here, but I'll try. I'm trying to fill some of these roles with skilled, well-rounded technicians, and when you're heading toward an automation or advancement in the facility, you need technicians that are going to be well-rounded, whether it's welding or hydraulics or whatever aspect they're more interested in, but somebody that can hit all those high notes, and someone that's going to be able to be there and be able to learn all of those processes and maybe excel at one of them, but be able to dabble in all of them and be able to fill those types of positions. Are the people that are older now and they're retiring, and those positions need to be filled. And heading toward an automation, most places are headed to automation now, and being able to learn the PLCs and the other technologies in automation. That's it.
Thank you. For individuals listening to you today, why do you think they should consider a job in manufacturing industry?
Well, the first and the most obvious is how competitive it is. So, like, I work in Madison, and within 10, 15 minutes of my job, there are multiple, like, probably 20 companies that would pay extreme amounts of money to get you guys in the door. So what that means for you is the companies are going to be competing with each other for you guys. It's not going to be you guys competing with each other for the companies. Whenever you get your education and some experience, you'll have employers coming to you, offering you jobs that you haven't even applied for yet. And with just a 2-year degree, you could easily make $50,000, $100,000 or more. I've seen it, I've done it, and you can do it too, easily, as soon as you get out of Wallace, or even while you're still working or going to school. So manufacturing, there's a huge shortage in labor, but the manufacturing industry is growing all the time, every single day. With that being said, they need you guys, so they're always going to be the ones paying the most, offering the best benefits, the best compensation, which is great for you guys. But then the other things that maybe aren't so obvious is how fulfilling it can be working in a skilled trade. So, like I said, a year ago I was at Wallace, and I have about 4 years of experience in like maintenance. Before that, I worked at McDonald's, and that was really, really boring and terrible all the time. So every single day at work is different, and it has a lot of challenges. Those are not always good challenges. Those are sometimes terrible. But at least it's something new and different, and we work together to figure it out. And that makes me go home at the end of the day feeling like I did something to be proud of, which I am really proud of myself for. And I want all of that for you guys. Wait.
Just fill this in with your boss is a jerk. I'm right here. It's
He
okay.
sucks, but I'm really great, so.
Hey, Lawson probably thinks the same thing.
Hey, Lawton.
Thank you. So, do you guys have any questions from the audience for our panel? Yes, sir.
My name is Roger Reeves, and my safety commitment is always the proper tool for the job. One of my questions is, as manufacturing is changing over the years, a lot of y'all mentioned automation, a lot of things moving to that. What is a skill gap that you see now that you didn't see 20, 30 years ago in your people that are coming up, new hires and stuff like that?
I wasn't alive 30 years ago, so
So I guess for me, sometimes it's actually just the basics. Your generation is moving so fast that sometimes we skip the basics. So that's something we usually end up catching up in industry. It works out, but that's one of the gaps we see.
I'll take that too. But anyway, for us, you can imagine our systems we have out there are full of some major hydraulic stuff. I mean, we got some very technical hydraulics. The new wave of that is onboard electronics with the hydraulics, so there's there's very few bang, bang valves, just off on left, right, or anything like that. It's all programmable. It's onboard electronics to do away with car drives and all. So when you try to hire that from off on externally into our plant, very few people have that type of industrial experience at that level of hydraulics. So for us, I think it's mainly hydraulics. A lot of people's getting into PLCs, of course, which helps a lot. The Megatronic programs that we have, y'all have up here, some other people have, they're really, really good because they combine the two trades and the theory of it, and it ties back into robots. And robotic, we're really, really advancing with our robotic stuff. So programming for robots. And so that's just the next phase we're stepping into. And it's ground level for us. So hiring somebody with a bunch of experience has been hard to find. So I'd say that's the gap for us.
So I haven't been, alive for 30 years yet, not until the last day of this year. But so take this for what it's worth. But this is my opinion, what I see. The biggest gap that I see right now is gap in PLC knowledge. So I know that you guys take PLC classes in school. You can learn for $35 online on your computer. But the actual practical application of it, people really, really struggle with. If I give you a simulation and I tell you, fill this grain silo up and tell the hopper to tilt back up whenever a sensor's made, you can do that. But when you see it in the real world, for whatever reason, it takes on a new meaning. It's a lot different. Not to mention there's a lot of safety stuff involved in PLC, and that's also what kind of pushes people away from it. In our world in welding, we don't want to bypass a clamp sensor and then run a robot through a jig. So that's always a risk you run. But the biggest gap that I see is the actual practical applications of PLCs. People are not really that interested in getting more familiar with it. I think it's because of fear. But when you find the right company that'll kind of help further your training, I think that becomes a lot easier, where you don't have to worry about every little thing you do. So.
Thank you. Any other questions? I saw a few other people raise their hand. Oh, come on, don't be shy.
I guess I'll ask one.
Okay, go ahead.
My name is Hunter Graham, and my personal safety commitment is to always keep my hands clear of moving parts while on the job. You guys did speak a little bit about the need for jobs in the industrial maintenance field. So one question I wanted to ask is, do you see that need being filled, or that there will be more of a need within the next 10 to 20 years?
There's a need right now for them to be filled. There's fewer and fewer people getting in skilled trade. And like I said, there's so many opportunities in a skilled trade. Like I said, you do what you need to do. You get the associate degree. You have ambition and you have want to. It's like someone else up here mentioned. These companies are going to seek you out. There's opportunities. You won't be without a payday. There's no laid offs. Or if something does happen, somebody's waiting. They're going to pick you up. There's that big of a demand for it. So, yes, there's a demand right now.
I got it. Yeah, go ahead. When I was in high school taking math, I thought it was the stupidest thing. What am I going to do with this? Well, I graduated high school, and I was a straight A student. I didn't go to college. Well, I started SIPCO. When I got on, in the machine shop working on my apprenticeship, I work with math every day now. And we have a lot of problems, the people that don't want to take the apprenticeships because they don't want to go back to get the schooling, which our apprenticeship program is not that hard. It's all online, and we're having to hire people off the street because we can't get people to bid on the apprenticeship program because they don't want to do the schoolwork. And we've hired the last 3 that we've got come from a little college in Tuscaloosa, I believe. And they do real good. I mean, they're great machinists. We have they're on probation for 6 months. After 6 months, if they pass probation, they go straight to craft rate. Well, when I was coming up, I come up through production, which is the same thing you do over and over and over. Well, I got my apprenticeship at 13 and a half years. Now, these boys are coming in with 4 years experience making craft rate money. And, like I said, I've been there 45 years. And they call me the Fred Sanford of the machine shop. You know who that is. I get all the junk. We are a repair machine shop. And they'll bring a piece in there that may not have a print. And you have to make a sketch to get all your dimensions and make that piece to keep the plant running. And that's what our shop does, is keeps our plant running. And we need people right now. That's why we're up here, because, we're fixing to put up some more apprenticeships and may have to hire some more off the street. So yes, there is a demand. And a lot of it is for, the manual machine. Everybody, now most people are teaching the CNC stuff. I run manual machines, and there's a big difference between having to dial off a few thousandths with your hand versus pushing a button. So, there's a big need, and do your math, because you're going to use it.
Your question was foreseeable future. It would just accelerate. We've been interviewing for 3.5 years for maintenance, machinists, and electricians, and we got still 29 opening in those trades. And like, I've been there 43 years, probably 47 to 50% of our plant in SIPCO is there in the craft departments. So within 3 years, we lose all the knowledge. So we got to close the knowledge gap, and that's where all of you come into play, I hope, entering the industry. So why do you enter? Because the sky's the limit on how far you want to go with it. There's no way you can, outsource everything and be a company. You need to be in-house, committed. We got a profit sharing plan. It's really sweet. And so anyway, there's just all kinds of opportunity in all industries represented up here, and many more. So yeah, you're stepping in the right place for sure. Where you walk into the immediate mid-level above money and a whole lot less school time getting there because of the hands-on practical experience.
Yeah, let me add a little bit to that. They've talked about the apprentice program. You being in a manufacturing trade already, you've obviously got the mechanical aptitude, the ability there, that with a little schooling you can be an immediate help. And really that's what we would like to have, is an immediate help. Now kids, employees that get into the apprentice program, they don't already, very few of them, let me say that, already have that mechanical aptitude. So you're trying to not only teach them the trade, but teach them that process of thinking and that mechanical ability there, which is not always possible. So just the fact that you're already taking the first step, being in the trade or wanting to study the trade, is a big benefit and plus to you being an immediate help to a company.
Thank you. More questions? Yes, sir.
My name is General Vincent Cox. My personal safety commitment is to always work ergonomically, work smart, not hard. So with the pit of challenge of high demand, what's the greatest challenge as manufacturing leadership and management for skilled trade retention? Like, what do you face in order to keep your skilled tradesmen because it's such a high demand, it's a big competition pool. What do you do to try to keep them and further develop them so that they will want to stay? Sorry to be so challenging.
That's a tough one.
For me, it's not, you've got to enjoy what you're doing. And for us to retain you and to keep you, I have to offer things, or SIPCO has to offer things like what I said. For every card that you come in my department and get, say you come and you get the journeyman plumber, well, that's $500 to your pocket. You go back, you get the master's, that's another $500 in your pocket. There's, and that holds true with the state certification in HVAC, same as the electrical cards go. There's incentives there, but it's always something different. Like I said, the facilities and all these facilities are so big, you're always on something different. But the biggest thing that we offer to keep you there is a very competitive salary with 401k match, along with a quarterly bonus that we have sure enough been blessed with. So there's rewards there, but you have to be satisfied first and foremost in what you're doing. It doesn't matter what you choose to do. If you're not happy in it, it doesn't matter what we pay or what we offer. Anybody's got to enjoy what they're doing. That's the bottom line of it.
So I think he's spot on. You've got to treat people good. You've got to treat them right, fair. You got to pay them an honest wage, and you've also got to continue learning, right? You got to have those opportunities to let employees learn the cards, machining, programming. If an employee gets stale, he will leave. That's a guarantee.
One thing I'll say, a word you mentioned there was leadership. The last few years in our company, especially with the folks we've got up there now, developing leaders is huge. I know a lot of people in here, want to go and work the 9-to-5 job, and they're happy doing that. But what we focus on is not just developing our product, but we're developing leaders. We got to have leaders. We're not going to be there forever. So we've got to develop the future leaders. We're always looking for that next leader. So one thing I would advise is if you go to work, no matter what your field is, I don't care what it is, if you're a mechanical engineer, whatever, find that person that's a good leader, attach yourself to them, take notes, whatever you got to do, because we need leaders. I know every company needs leaders. We're all going to retire, and we got to have people run the company, and we got to have that same mentality. We've invested so much time and money in just developing leaders. Yes, we invest tons of time in engineering and test, and we have test facilities to test our products. We'll go as far, I'll tell this one, and if you'd have told me we were going to be getting leadership training from Navy SEALs a month ago, I'd have said you're crazy. But we did. So we invested in a company to come out. They brought Navy SEALs. We went up the road about 2 miles here, and we shot it out with them. There was more to it than that. They put us through leadership training, and it changed the way we think. We look at everybody that's good leaders. The military is a great place to look, especially these high-level teams. So we'll invest in anything that'll grow our leaders, and I'd advise you to attach yourself to that. Get any kind of leadership training that's out there. I don't care what your field is. I don't care if you're an engineer. Get out in the shop, work with the folks that's building the product. Show them that you're a leader. Show them that you're ready to get your hands dirty. That's just one tip I'd like to pass on.
We have enough time for one more question. Yes, sir.
My name is Gavin Madison. My personal safety commitment is to always wear proper hair protection and dealing with chemicals. My question would be, kind of falls along the line of what Mr. Vincent just asked, but y'all mentioned work hard and always learn new things. So even for me personally, and for all students here, after you get out of the PACE program or whatever program you're in, what are some other opportunities that you can help to better, even afterwards, better your learning or understanding of what field you're in?
So we're kicking off programs for like on-the-job training. to further that knowledge and that experience. Truth be told, for a lot of the things that you're doing right now and a lot of things you'll be expected to do in the field, they go hand in hand, but the experience in it is what's going to really accelerate your growth in those areas. On-the-job training is just another tool to help accelerate that growth. So we're developing those programs now. Sydney knows that we've been going through some of that already, maybe a little unofficially, but it's important to us that you understand what you're doing, and not just that I'm doing this, but the why behind how, why am I doing this? A lot of folks, I know let's say in the industry, I know whenever this happens, I hit the fault button and it goes away. Okay, well, as industrial maintenance technicians or industrial HVAC technicians, anything that applies to an advanced manufacturing job, we want to help you get to a point to where you can understand in your troubleshooting process why this happened, not just understand how to get past it.
Something to add to that, a lot of companies, my company included, have tuition reimbursement. Currently, right now, I'm going back to school. I have a mechatronics degree from Wallace, but I'm going back to school to get an engineering degree. It's difficult, but luckily, at work, I'm learning every single day. That's what personally drives me. I wouldn't go to somewhere where I'm working and I'm not bettering myself while I'm doing it. That's something that you'll see whenever you start, or you've already started, whatever the case is, that every single day you're getting better and better. And pretty soon you'll look back and not be able to believe that you came into the industry not knowing anything at all, or not having that critical thinking skills that you're learning along the way.
A lot of times when the FAME students get to our plant, they're brand new, don't know anything about industrial maintenance at all. And after they work with the older guys for a while and start getting the schooling, the technical side of it, and also the hands-on, it's not long before they're starting, and you can see it when it starts clicking and they start understanding more, and eventually they get to the point where when a call's made, we're calling on them to go catch the call. And they're starting to run things and develop themselves. And they'll be the ones that do it for the next round of FAME students.
Well, we have enough for one more question. I know I saw, yes, sir.
Yeah, Ryan, I'm just the HVAC instructor here. I just wanted to ask, I get really excited because I've been in the industrial maintenance, these plants before at U.S. Steel, Miller Steel plants, so for all the HVAC students here, I get excited about the opportunities that you guys provide for them. But what could they do to work on, as far as, because a lot of the opportunities that they have is more of the commercial and residential side, but what kind of advice do you have for them as far as getting on the industrial side, or skills that they may kind of need to brush up on before they graduate, or anything to that effect?
There again, what Buzz touched on early, and someone else. The PLC stuff, be able to get on that computer and log into that system and see what it's doing. That's the newer stuff that we're getting into out there at the plant. That's where I'm at. So the learning never stops. It's going to be a continuation. Make sure you learn the basics. If you can draw out the basic refrigeration diagram, if you can draw out the basic thermostat diagram, I don't care what bells and whistles they add into that system. You can always stop and think. Go back to the basic. Draw it out, see what's going on. But also the 4 laws of refrigeration, they never change. It's been the same since I've been doing it, which is over 30 years. Learn the basics, learn the terminology, get where you can get on the laptops and on the computers and get into these systems. The variable drive, variable speed, a lot of the 460, the higher, it's not high voltage to West, but a lot of your higher voltage to familiarize yourself. I started off residential, and when I went to a SIPCO, all the different types of refrigerants, learn how to read your pressure temperature chart, your superheat, your subcoolant, be able to put all that together and say, this is not quite right. These numbers are not adding up. Take the time to sit back, give it some thought. And this goes for anything, not just HVAC. You're going to mess up. You're going to make some bad calls. You're going to cause the company, you're going to cause that customer sometimes, maybe not the customer, but the company, you're going to cost them some money. But it's a learning process. Be upfront, be honest, and tell your boss, this is what I done, this is what happened, this is what happened, and this is that allow us an opportunity to make things right and to correct it. But also, it's a great learning opportunity. It's a teachable moment. I'm always mess with my guys about a teachable moment, but that's what it is, and that's the way we learn. It's going to happen. You're going to make some bad calls.
I would say for all these students, like your question, just be interested in getting into the industrial field itself. We've been hiring since 2019 over 200 and something people. Right now, Wes and myself, we have 40 people to interview for internal apprenticeships. Once you get into a plant, make yourself available to all the opportunities. For SIPCO, it would be our internal apprentice program in whether it be machine shop, plumber HVAC, the electrical field, or a mechanical field. Get on the four-year apprenticeship. It is some book work, but the whole time you're in the field alongside a craft person, going on calls, being in a workbench, and being in the whole environment. So it's basically just know the opportunities and make yourself available to them. Whether it's internal apprenticeship or, tuition reimbursement, all those things are there. And they're all available for most all heavy industry plants that I know about.
Well, we would like to thank you guys on the panel for answering our questions, and there's time for networking till 10:05. So if any of the students have other questions for a panel, please come up and talk to them. Oh, wait, just a second. Oh, hold on, we got door prizes. Door prizes are always fun.
Okay, so this is, when you guys were signing up when you came in, this is what this was for. So yay, we made it worth it. So first, we're going to acknowledge some of our industry partners. We have 4 who have been selected for a door prize. That's going to be Michael Daniel from CMC Steel, Brittany Scott from Dynetics, Mr. John Busby from ASIPCO, and John Higginbottom from Fontaine Trailer. Yay! And now, all right, and then beginning with the students, we have Javier Zavala from HVAC, Robert Combs, not sure what program, Kyle Chapman, yep, Billy Sanchez, that's collision, Luis Sanchez, automotive, Jeremiah Sivley, Austin Beasley, Caleb Williams, Lawton Farr, Grant Wiley, Lincoln Calvert, it's welding, yep, Jack West, and Jay Knopp. Thank you. Yeah, that's fine.
So please be ready at 10:05 to get started on our next panel. Thank you. Thank y'all so much. Work-based learning project manager for the Alabama Community College System. I've been in the community college system now for a little over 10 years, but before that I was an electrical engineer and manufacturing. I worked at Honda Manufacturing and Southern Controls, and I have a master's degree in engineering, and I started just like you guys at Northwest Shoals Community College in North Alabama, and then UAH and Mississippi State. So thank you for joining us today, and I would like for our panel to introduce themselves.
Good morning. My name is Steve Colburn. I'm with Mercedes-Benz U.S. International. So my time with Mercedes-Benz goes back to October the 7th, 1996. So as you can hear, in a few days I'll hit 25 years with the company. Grew up in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, went to Shelton State Community College, not Wallace State, I'm sorry. Great college here, but I went to community college for a couple of years and then on to Athens State University.
Hey, I'm Nikki Culp with Fontaine Trailer. I've been with Fontaine Trailer for 16 years. I am the customer service manager there. I have a business degree. I'm originally from South Alabama, so it was Wallace and South Alabama is where my degree came from. We're excited to be here today to talk to you guys, to tell you a little about our business and to hear some questions that you guys might have.
I'm Laura Gilliland. I'm the HR manager for Louisiana Pacific Corporation, also known as LP Building Solutions. I graduated from Wallace State in 2006 with a business administration degree and went on to UAB to pursue a marketing degree, and now I work in human resources. So your degree field doesn't necessarily mean that's the career path that you will choose. So it's important to get a good education, and so we're so glad to see all of you here today to get to talk to you.
John Higginbotham, operations manager with Fontaine Trailer Company. I've been with the company about 2.5 years. Degree is from Auburn in a construction background, actually. So again, not necessarily a change of field there as well, but honored to be here and look forward to the open discussion.
Hi, I'm Stacy Stevens. I'm the Global Accounts Payable Supervisor at Abaco Systems in Huntsville, Alabama, and I'm approaching my 1-year anniversary with that company.
Thank you, guys. Well, let's get started with the first question. What led you into the manufacturing industry, and if you worked prior to that in a different industry, how does it compare?
It's kind of hard for me to talk about this without giving you my life history, but I'm going to try my best to do so. I started out with patient relations in a hematologist's office, and was not didn't have any interest in working in manufacturing. But my job at that time was just a job. That's all it was. I got up, I went to work every day, and I came home, and I had no interest in it at all, and didn't even really realize that I was just going through the mundane every day. My husband and I actually moved to this area, and I stayed home for a few years. And a friend of mine said, hey, why don't you come do some temp work for us? Makes a little extra money on the side. I really wasn't interested. I said, okay. I got there, absolutely loved it, fell in love with the environment, the team atmosphere at Fontaine Trailer, just the principles behind manufacturing and what it taught me. Within a couple of months, I got a phone call. I said, hey, we'd like for you to come and work for us full time. I took advantage of that. And Fontaine, I take every opportunity to brag about Fontaine. I'm excited to do that. Has afforded me so many opportunities and experiences that I would have never had I not joined the team there at Fontaine. And I have been able to go from the bottom to where I am today. I've done the mundane, the small task, the simple task, and I can remember the day that the president of the company came in and said, as of today, you no longer have a job, you have a career. And I can remember just feeling so proud in that and so excited to see what the future would hold, and it's only been good things from there.
Okay, wow, I don't know where to start with that question, so I'm going to try not to take too much time as well. So if I go back to my earliest thinking about manufacturing or just working in general, for one, my dad was in construction. He built houses. So when I was 14 and 15, I remember the summer between school, we needed some money. We wanted some spending money, and Dad said, okay, me and my older brother, I've got 3 or 4 houses going, and y'all get in the truck with me. And he would take us and drop us off and pick us up at 3:30 that afternoon. So that's where I got introduced to working and working hard as I went through school. I don't remember a whole lot about high school. I was one of those that did the co-op deal where you left a half a day because I was ready to go. But in school as a senior, the teacher said in whatever class it was, what do you want to do for a career? So this is what I remember. I raised my hand and I said, I want to be a welder. That's what I thought at the age of 18 as a senior in high school. So after high school, started working full-time with a company. I was already working full-time and was going to school at night to learn welding. So I did that for a whole year of learning welding. So I did gas welding, and I learned how to cut steel. If anybody's in that degree, you kind of know what I'm talking about. The instructor at the time said, if you cut this plate, if it can stand up on all 4 sides, you pass, right? So that's what I was doing right after high school. But to get involved in true manufacturing, that kind of started with a couple of companies in Tuscaloosa. And really, for me, it was about opportunity. So I didn't come out of high school, go straight to college and get this degree, right? Mine has happened over a span of time. So from one company to another manufacturing company, it was all about opportunity, and these were good paying jobs. So that's where I was headed. I always had, some technical ability, good with my hands. And then you think back in time before a lot of you in this room were born. They made this big announcement after leaving from one factory, and I see this announcement, Mercedes-Benz is coming to North America. Not only to North America, we are coming to the state of Alabama. And right here in Tuscaloosa County where I was at, I was like, wow, I have got to do something with this. This is a great opportunity. That's when my journey started. And I didn't cover this and when I introduced myself, but my career journey, and I'll go from Mercedes-Benz to now. I walked in the door on October the 7th, 1996 as a production team member, and back then we built the M-Class. That's where I started my career as a production team member. Always looking for opportunity. What's next? What do I want to get into next? So I was interested in being promoted. Then a team leader in production. What's the next level up? Went to Germany for 2 weeks, came back, then went to the next level in our plant, which is a group leader. That's a supervisor on the floor. And then after about 7 or 8 years of being a supervisor in production, I had the opportunity to move to HR. And now I've been there for 13 years with Mercedes-Benz and done a lot of different responsibilities. So yes, I just went all the way around the world to tell you how I got involved in manufacturing. And you know, before home construction, I will say this, as a 16-year-old in high school, when I left high school to go work this part-time job, I wore a baby blue shirt with a pig on the front. So I was a stock boy at Piggly Wiggly as a 16-year-old.
Love it.
I'll add just one thing real quick. I actually got started in manufacturing through an internship. So even though I was a marketing student, the manufacturing company that I was hired in at was for marketing, right? But that's how I got introduced to it. I went on to work in the retail side of business in marketing and human resources, but I really loved the manufacturing side of things and just the employees and what they did and making something and how neat that process is. So after college, I went on and found a job in the manufacturing field as an HR manager, but it was really interesting, and it still excites me today for what we do at LP, just to see the process from beginning to end. So there's opportunity everywhere, but manufacturing is a wonderful field.
So as you can see, whatever you think you want to do today, you're probably going to grow until you decide you want to retire one day. But definitely, the same with me. I didn't know that I would be in education. I thought I'd be an engineer forever. So just continue to learn. That's the biggest thing. Continue to learn. What degrees, certifications, or training were required for your current career?
For me personally, I had 18 years experience in accounting. However, I was not able to move up at all. I just was passed over for many opportunities. And at age 47, I went back to school at Wallace State. And I'm a 2019 graduate, awesome. And it changed the trajectory of my life. I don't know any other way to put it. Thank you. Graduating from here was one of the best days of my life, and I just can't tell you, yes, I make more money. I got an opportunity to make more money, but that's not everything. It is self-confidence and freedom and choices. I just can't tell you how different my life is today than it was 4 years ago. I am very grateful for the opportunities that I got here, but I'll stop preaching about that. It took a 2-year degree from Wallace State to get the job that I have now. I had a dead-end job for 10 years, was going absolutely nowhere. Was I good at what I did? Absolutely, but there was nowhere to go. I got passed over for what few opportunities there were at that company, and then I got my 2-year degree here, and the world opened up, and I am grateful.
That's great.
So for me, as an HR manager, the degrees and certifications that are asked for are often business degrees, not necessarily human resources. So my marketing degree worked out for me. I always say that growing up, I wanted to be a teacher. And then when I was in the 10th grade, I wanted to be an attorney. And then when I actually went through college, I was like, marketing, that's where I want to be. I want to design and be creative. And my job as a human resource manager actually encompasses all three of those things. So it is really the perfect job for me. I get to teach my employees how to do a process or a job. I deal with compliance and legal issues all the time. And and the marketing side of things, I always have to sell them on, why we do things certain ways or new things that are coming out. So it really works out great for me that this is my career. For manufacturing, where I work, we don't require a specific degree for our entry-level production jobs, but in the electrical and maintenance side of things, we do require a degree from a technical program. So we have students in the FAME program here at Wallace going through the mechatronics program, and we have actually sent some of our existing employees through that same program as well so that they can move up and do what they want to do long term.
Thank you. When you are recruiting or hiring new employees, what are you looking for in an application, resume, cover letter, skill set, and or employability characteristics?
You want me to go? Okay. So from a recruiting standpoint, let me just give you, this is a simple statement here to start with. So when I walked into the plant the other day, when you walk in our plant, there's a front entrance, and we have these hedge bushes that align that walk into the front entrance. And I walk in, I see this aluminum can sitting in top of a bush, and I picked it up and I said, we hired the wrong person. Right, so one of the things for me that's real important is to hire people that treat the job with respect and the company, and not have those kind of things laying around. From a pure resume standpoint, there's a lot of, if I'm looking at a document, what do I want to see on a document? Yes, what is your degree? What kind of job experiences do you have? That kind of thing is what I'm looking for. Relevant work experience, especially if you're in whatever degree you're in. Does your resume show an employer that you have relevant work experience toward that degree while you're earning that degree? That's a key as well, just from a resume standpoint. Now, what do we need for an applicant? Definitely, we're looking for a lot of people say soft skills. I don't really enjoy that word a whole lot. Those kind of skills to me are what I call hard success skills. They're not soft, right? So we're talking about teamwork. We're talking about interpersonal skills. We're talking about work ethic. We're talking about being dependable, having integrity. We want employees that really take pride and passion in doing what they're doing in our place at Mercedes-Benz. So you've got to have that to be dedicated. Anytime I see things like I saw the other day with that can being in the bush, it's disrespectful to everybody that has put forth the effort, the energy, all the 25 years of us producing cars. Everybody that's put in that work, that's kind of like, I don't care, right, when you see that. So we want to make sure that we're hiring employees that embrace Mercedes-Benz, embrace the company that we have passion and commitment toward their job, where every single thing you're doing, every single process, every single project is important. And I'll tell a student that or a teamer that all the time. Don't think for 1 second if you're out in our production shop and you're installing a label on a sun visor that's not important. That is equally as important as everything else we do in our company. So everything is important. So you want to have that dedication. You want to have that commitment from a team member. You want to have that passion about this is a great company. This is a great job to have. And that's what it's going to take to be successful. That's what it's taken us when we started as a company to be successful. Flexibility, adaptability. Can you be managed, right? And I got news for you. If you don't like to be managed, you need to find something else, because you will be managed for the rest of your life, right? There's always somebody to report to. Even if you own your own company, who do you report to then? The customer. Because if you don't have a customer, you don't have a company, right? And you think about the levels in our plant just this morning, and I just got here about 5 minutes before this was supposed to start. I was sitting at the table with 2 senior managers, my manager, and 2 vice presidents in our company delivering a presentation about a training budget. So I had to prepare for that. I want to make sure that everything I'm doing is going to be exactly what they need to see. So it's all about being prepared and having, being passionate about what you're doing. So that's a little bit. I know I'm going over what time I have, so I'll just go ahead and give it to somebody else.
I'll add to that. and just say that one of LP's leadership principles is to think and act like an owner. So we want to see how you exhibit those characteristics. Resumes are hard because, you know, it's a sheet of paper that you're sending, or electronically, right? That you're sending to a future employer or a potential employer to describe yourself and what you do. So take the time when you're filling out a resume to put as much detail as you can. So I work in HR, so I don't know what you do at your company that you're currently working at. So describe that to me the best way that you can, and show me how you've made an impact in that. What kind of goals you've hit, what kind of things that you have done. In a cover letter, I don't really need cover letters anymore. I don't think those are used as much, but it's a great way for you to introduce yourself to me and tell me why I should hire you. So what are those skills that you have? What kinds of things have you done? Maybe you've never had a job before, but have you volunteered? Do you do things at your church? Or when you were in school, were you on a team? Those kinds of characteristics really show who you are as a person, and can really go a long way in getting you a future job or career.
I was just going to add that sometimes you get in the mindset that the little small things, like Steve was talking about, aren't noticed. But I'm going to tell you they are noticed. They're extremely noticed. Those little small details, like Keith talked about, like putting something in the garbage or whatever, your work ethic is noticed. People above you will recognize it. And you may not feel it on today when you do something good, you may not see that immediately, but I can promise you that you do that over and over again, it's noticed. So don't get tired in doing those small things and those little tasks, because it will bring reward.
Yeah, I was just going to add, we at Fontaine, obviously, we are in the market for skilled labor. That is the crux of our business. We are a assembly plant. We don't necessarily fabricate anything. We put the finished product together. So in this question, the last statement there, employability characteristics, I was just going through our new hire orientation earlier this week. And there's one slide in a presentation that I give that talks about employee expectations. And I hate to boil it down to something so simple, but there's literally one sentence in there that says something to the effect of, we want an employee that is going to show up on time with a good work ethic and take pride in their work. It sounds real simple, guys. I mean, there's not a lot that we look for in employees, but work ethic goes a long way. And then I'll add something to what Steve said as far as being managed the rest of your career. If you'll go in with the principle of making your boss look good, if that's your one driving factor, you could have the worst boss in the entire world. But if you have the mindset of, I don't care how bad I think this boss is, I'm going to make him look good, that is one method of advancing your career quicker than you can imagine.
So we have yes, we're a partner with the Wallace State as well. We have a great program with Wallace State, the Mercedes Tech Advanced Automotive Technology Program, and we look forward to seeing those students be successful at our plant. Every student that I recruit, they hear a big speech from me, for sure. But I give every student that we recruit a hat that's got the Mercedes star right in the center. And I said, at our company, we are a team wear company. I've got my shirt on today. I was in a hurry to get here. I was going to throw on my presentation shirt. Didn't have time. So this is my team wear shirt. It has my first name right here. We're a first name company. We still go by this guideline. We still require all team members to wear their team wear shirt. But from a hat perspective, they can wear any kind of hat they want to. Wallace State hat, Auburn hat, Alabama hat, doesn't matter. We used to not be that way. First 5 years, we said Mercedes head to toe. You had to have on Mercedes gear. We kind of got away from that. I'm not a fan of that, right? I'm a fan of embracing the team. So when my students hit that floor, I encourage them, when I give them that hat, hey, please wear this. Wear this to support the company. Wear this to say, as we come through this turnstile and I scan my badge and come to work, while I may be a fan of whatever sports team out here, when I scan my badge, I support one team, and that's Mercedes-Benz. So it's about having that passion and that commitment to supporting the company and being a part of the team. So I always give them that speech to say, hey, this is important. This is important that you embrace Mercedes-Benz, you embrace the team, you embrace that being professional, and you can say, well, I'm in a technical career. I'm a technician on a car, or I'm a maintenance team member. What that doesn't mean that you still can't be professional, even the way you look, right? You can still always look and act professional in your job, whatever that is. So it's a big thing in our company. Everybody talks about attendance. Everybody here can tell you one of the biggest issues that we have is we just need employees to show up on time. I don't know why that's so difficult these days, right? They have to be there. If somebody is not there, something else has got to happen, right? And it's always an impact. It's like a domino effect. One person that doesn't show up on time, it impacts several other things, right? And it's just too important. And it's really too easy of a topic. We shouldn't even be talking about it, right? It should just come naturally. I have got to be there and be there on time. So that's what we need. That's what all of us need as an employee, is somebody that understands that part right there. I get there on time, and I do my job to the best of my ability, and I always understand this too. Nobody is perfect. So you want employees to understand that. Hey, this is not a perfect world. Not a perfect company, not a perfect job, right? So go ahead and get that out of your mind that, okay, everything's going to be perfect or everything's going to go the way that I want it to go. No, it's not, right? So they got to learn how to adapt and change. Every day is a different story at Mercedes-Benz. So you have to be flexible. You have to adapt to change easily.
Yes, ma'am.
One of the things that I've noticed that is a big need is initiative. There was a situation at my company recently where a new person had come in. Unfortunately, this person did not like to show up on time, liked to leave early. When I happened to be the supervisor, and when I was not around, this person would just hang out and instead of actually doing their work. This person had to be told to do something constantly. Just show some initiative. If you're there and you're working and you don't have something, or you don't think you have something to do, find something, ask questions, learn something new. Because on my team in particular, we're kind of having to deal with some things that were left by folks that were there prior to my current team, and the can just sort of got kicked down the road. We have a lot of things that need to be done, and this person just wasn't on board. So I had the privilege of replacing that person recently, and the person that I chose didn't have the higher education that that person had, but she has drive, she has initiative, and she has determination, and she appreciates the opportunity, and she's going to go far. I'm looking forward to seeing where she goes.
Thank you. Describe briefly what a normal day in your particular role entails.
I think you've heard it several times today in the first panel and this panel. In manufacturing, there is not a normal day. And we were talking about it this morning before we got started, and I said, what is a normal day? I don't even know how to start there. But manufacturing is something new every day. I had mentioned the job that I had prior to moving into the manufacturing industry, and it was the same thing, day in, day out. I went in and I had a job to do, and I got it done. In manufacturing, it is so different from that. We do have parts of our day that are the same, and that we do, we have some practices in place that we religiously keep. We come in every morning, we have a production meeting for the day, which kind of gets our team together, all from every department, from every area of the business. We talk about what the day is going to look like, what it's going to hold, any struggles that a department may be facing or may be having. We ask questions of one another. So we just get our day started with communication. I think that's important. At Fontaine, our statement is we want to be first, Fontaine first. We want to be first in innovation, we want to be first in quality, and we want to be first in customer service. So to do that, every day, in and out, when we come in, that's got to be our mentality, Fontaine first. Fontaine first in everything. In customer service, our challenge or our what we want to accomplish is we want to make it easy. That's our slogan. Fontaine wants to make it easy. We want to make it easy to do business with us before and after the sale. We want to support that product the best that we can. So when we come in each day, that's what we do. I have the aftermarket division that works with me, parts, service, that kind of stuff, warranty, taking care of the product when a customer does have a hiccup, has an issue, making sure that they're completely satisfied and that we get them taken care of is our number one objective every day. So you can imagine that I can say that I've been working with I've been in customer service or some type of customer relations the entire 16 years I've been with Fontaine. But in the aftermarket and warranty, it is something different every single day. I learn something new every day. I tell somebody all the time, I am constantly learning. When I think I've seen it all, no, something new is going to roll across. It's going to challenge me, and it's going to make me put my my logical thinking skills to work, to try to figure out for the customer. So we're always looking for better ways to innovate. We're always looking for ways to improve our processes, to grow our leadership skills. One thing I did want to say and add to what Jared said in the first panel is we are constantly, in those morning production meetings, we're constantly looking for prospective leaders in our company. You had an excellent question the first go around, and I appreciated that question, and I wanted to answer it so bad. So I'm going to take advantage of that. But we're always looking for that. We do a lot of book readings together. We identify potential leaders within our company. We get them together. We do book readings as a group. So always be looking for ways to grow those leadership skills because it has helped me so much. But that's a typical day for us. We're just supporting our customers, getting them taken care of, getting them what they need, and doing that with the right attitude. That's hard. Dealing with people is hard, but to do it with a smile, to do it with, with care, and with that mindset of Fontaine is first in all things, and that's what we want our customers to have at the end of the day.
Yeah, so I'll be the fourth or fifth or sixth person that's, that'll echo that normal doesn't really exist, which, in all honesty, I think that's what makes it enjoyable for me. It's not monotonous. It's every day can and probably will bring its own challenges, right? So as operations manager, I've got production, safety, quality, and maintenance that I kind of oversee. And so kind of the start of my day, before we get into any sort of meetings or anything like that, I try to get with my production line supervisors, make sure that we are set up for success for the rest of the day. And then probably for the next couple of hours, we kind of have a daily routine. As Nikki said, we kind of start off with a production meeting. Well, actually, let me back up. Before that, we, as part of our Lean Daily Management program, we do a Gemba walk. And if you're not familiar with that, Gemba means at this place. That's what Gemba means. And so we do a Gemba walk and hit a multitude of stations throughout our plant where we get a report from the previous day as far as safety, quality, delivery, productivity, and then our 5S score, which is kind of organization and cleanliness. After that, we kind of go into our daily production meeting. Then we kind of have a manager level meeting. And then after that, it could be any number of things. As I said, it could be planning meetings. It could be a quality issue meeting. It could be vendor discussions. But again, it's a variety. Like I said, it's normal for maybe the first couple hours, and then it goes into, could be anything, and that's what makes it enjoyable.
Okay. So how is the current shortage in skilled workers in manufacturing impacting in your role at your company?
So my job is hiring people. So it's very frustrating when we can't find workers. It's given us a different mindset of how we're going to fill those gaps. And so that was one reason that LP joined the FAME chapter here at Wallace, was to not be left behind because we couldn't find the skilled labor. So we are having them work for us while they're in school. They're learning what they need to learn here, and then they have a job with us in a skilled trade when they complete the program. So that was one way. Again, we also sent some of our production employees through the mechatronics program so that we could fill those gaps internally. But we are hiring, so if you're looking for a job, come see me at the table.
Yeah, exactly, and I'll add to that. So obviously, I think frustrating is a pretty good word, and we all kind of got stuck on work ethic, et cetera, from a couple of questions ago. Our market in particular, the commercial platform, the 18-wheeler flatbeds that you see going down the interstate that we build, is in fantastic shape right now. So our need for skilled workers, again, has been frustrating in the lack there. But more so, I believe, the lack of skilled workers is hurting us more from our supply chain standpoint. So as I mentioned earlier, we are a kind of a final assembly plant where we have to wait on, we don't really fabricate anything. We're not fabricating the main beams. We're not fabricating the steel components. We're putting everything together. And so the supply chain struggle right now, the skilled workers needed at those manufacturing facilities that are actually fabricating the aluminum components that we need or the steel components, that is the biggest struggle for us right now, and not being able to get the parts we need in order to meet the demand for our product that is out there right now. So a little different spin there. Again, it's been frustrating for us as we've tried to grow to meet that demand and not being able to. It's taken us a lot longer to get to the number of employees we need. But even after we've gotten to that point, our vendor partners and our supply chain partners are still lagging behind us and creating that anomaly there as well.
So we're going to take a couple of questions from the audience. Who would like to ask our panel any questions? Yes, sir, in the blue shirt.
One of the questions I thought we should answer earlier, since we are shooting this so the high school program can see it, could you give us just a round figure annually what workers in different areas of your company makes, so they could see that? You know, there's often a push for 4-year degrees, but we know a lot of people with 2-year degrees make just as much and sometimes more than those 4-year degrees.
Mm-hmm. So I'll tell you. Our skilled labor can make upwards of $100,000 a year. So there is lots of possibility and a future in a skilled labor position. Just on our hourly side, most of our average is, I would say, $50,000 to $60,000 a year.
Yeah, from our skilled labor standpoint, we employ anything from a basic assembler, but I don't mean basic in that term or anything. And then obviously we employ a number of welders, steel or aluminum, and that work rate is probably going to range from mid-$19 an hour up to low 20s. Obviously, if there's a maintenance need, a little bit more than that, and then obviously we have a tiered growth based on experience, and then that developed leadership skill if you get into team leaders or supervisors, et cetera.
Thank you. Steve?
And I think from our side, that range is going to be between 20 and 35, depending on what specific job you're in.
Very good paying jobs, as you can see. Any other questions?
Yes. My name is General Vincent Cox. My personal safety commitment is to always work ergonomically, work smart, not hard. From your job titles and what you disclosed to us, you all are in the people business, right? So development is key. I'm pretty sure you all have foundations as to where you have your own on-the-job training programs. Steve, I know you have AID to you because I technically work for you, kind of, sort of.
Nice to meet you.
But in comparison to what you have, how critical or advantageous are programs like the FAME program, the HVAC program, the welding tech that we have in advanced manufacturing training? How critical is that to your growth and development? And do you see that as a very, very important factor in what we have to offer to do?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes. I think our apprenticeship programs that we have at Mercedes are very important. Now, I know we have one program here at Wallace State, and actually we're trying to pull from two different technical programs here. And it's all about apprenticeships. It's all about training. It's all about bringing in incoming skill level. I mean, y'all know how long I've been there. It's 25 years for me, and I'm not, I still got another 20 to go before I retire, I think. But as we've been a company that long, we have this big monitor in HR, and it shows. I see a picture and it says, "Hey, congratulations, retiring." Every day I'm seeing this, every day, right? So we've been there for a company for 25 years, and this level of retirement is just going up and up and up because people keep getting there. Well, how do we take care of the maintenance jobs and the automotive technician jobs that are planned, and some skills in paint repair? How do we bring that into our plan, and how do we keep replacing those skills that we're losing? By programs such as the one you're in, by programs such as the one that we have with Wallace State and with 3 other community colleges. We have to develop our own pipeline, like with other companies and what she just mentioned, part of the FAME program. Everybody's having developed their own pipeline to replace these skill sets. I hope that answered your question about, yes, they are important, and the programs that y'all are in are very important to all industry for sure.
And I'll say that this program gives you the skills that you need to apply at those jobs that are going to give you on-the-job training to hone in on those skills and further develop those skills. But the basics that you get here at Wallace State are so critical for your future.
I would encourage any student that's listening that's in high school, if you're in a technical career in high school, it doesn't end. Don't let high school, when you graduate, say, okay, my learning is over. No. Go on to a community college. Go on and get that skill trade. Go on and learn industrial maintenance, industrial electronics, automotive technician for sure, please. Think about what you're interested in and get that degree and learn those skills, right? It's so important, right? Do not let it end after high school. And your training doesn't end there. Even after you finish Wallace State, even after you get your job in that company, the meeting I had this morning that I was in was all about training of what we're doing at the plant now. Training dollars, training, what topics are we trying to take care of? We have internal training that's continuing every year. Every year I see these requests that come across my desk. Hey, we've got this training that we need to do. Here's the request. This is how much money it costs. You're always going to be learning, and you need to always be open to learning. I learn things every day still.
And not only on the actual, just the skills side of things, but if you are in here or you're listening and you've got that business mindset, to reach out for these manufacturing companies for your internships. We've actually done some internships recently with sales students that were graduating with a sales degree. Get in these companies, learn the products, learn what the manufacturing environment is like, and do an internship in a manufacturing company. Look for that. So many times sales and business students are going out and they're looking into the pharmaceutical industry or the medical sales and that kind of stuff. But the manufacturing side of that is, I can promise, is rewarding. So if you're on the business side of things, look for internships in these manufacturing in the industry.
I would like to thank the panel for being with us today, and I'm going to ask Bethany to come up.
Thank you all for your participation today. I've learned a ton, and I thank y'all for being here. We appreciate our students here and our industry partners here and anybody that has joined us. We are going to have an opportunity for the companies to talk some more with our students, so please take advantage of talking with every person out here at these tables. You know, they're potentially places that you're going to go on to get bachelor's degrees, and there are also places that you may want to be employed one day. So thank you all so much, and happy Manufacturing Day.